Y'all ready for a live stream? 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 Cause it's 8:45 on the 629erd. 629erd, it's time for the live stream, time for the live stream. 629erd. 629erd, 9erd, 629er, 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 9erd. That means it's June and it's hot outside. Because it's summertime, we're gonna live stream. The sun went down, so it's time to live stream. Jennifer J. Sarcino, first one to the chat. First one to the chat. Boop, burp. First one to the chat. Internet. First one to the chat. Burp, burp. First one to the chat. First one to the chat. Internet. What's up, Internet? What's going on? Happy whatever day. What day's today? What day's today? What day is today? Thursday, the 29erd of June-erd. In the summer timer. What do we got tonight? What do we got coming hot, fresh down the pipe? Courtesy of our friend Eddie Kaitia. A clear piece of PVC. Oh, look at that. Oh, it looks like I hit in the head with something. Joel Gillett's here. He says it's the 45th of September. Okay, that's good. It's good to know that we're deep into the heart of the Indian summer in September on the 45th-erd. It's Thursday. Thursday, everybody. We're close to Friday, which is good, which means it's going to get busier again, right? It always gets busy at the end of the week. I don't care who you are. Everybody always says, thank God it's Friday, and I'm like, oh, crap, that means there's a ton of stuff to do. Oh, Ruru2's here, too. Right on. What's up, man? Thanks for coming out, everybody. Of course, muchas gracias, mis amigos, por llevar la internets. Thanks for coming out to play internets with us, because we're here to play internets for reals. We're for reals this time. We're going all the way. We're going all the way to the end zone. For reals. We're going to slam dunk into the uprights like Jiminy Grahams. Like Jiminy Grahams and so many other footballers out there who slam dunk into the uprights. That's what we're going to do tonight, kids. That's what we're going to do tonight, adults. That's what we're going to do tonight, senior citizens. We're going to slam dunk into the uprights like 7-foot tight ends. Hold on, I got to throw this garbage away. Yeah, as I was saying, the title of tonight's live stream is we built a clear CO2 reactor for the Aquascape, which is for the 240-gallon aquarium, which I'm pretty excited for, and I hope you all are excited too. Oh, we could get a hockey metaphor. No problem. We'll go all the way down the ice. We'll skip through all the blue lines. We'll head straight through like Sidney Crosby. We'll pass to ourselves, and we'll go 5-hole to win the cup. Just like Stanley did back in the day, the Stanley Cup, right? Sidney Crosby, greatest hockey player of all time, second only to Mario Lemieux, which, of course, is always debatable. But Sidney Crosby is a fantastic, and I'm a big fan of that guy. I'm a big fan of that dude. You see him during the playoffs this year. They broke his teeth out, and he came back on the ice. He just got right back in for the next shift. People call him a prima donna. That doesn't seem like prima donna type stuff to me. But oh crap! We got a super chat from Joel Gillett, and it's in Polynesian. I don't know how to read it. I don't know what that says. Nagamimi Oatawahora. Nahari Pari. I don't know how to say that. I don't know how to say that. That is a language I would love to learn sometime, though. Yeah, Maori. That's what that is. I was like Polynesian, but that's Maori. Yeah. Which is good. V-Stag's a big fan of the Flyers. Hey, I like the Philadelphia Flyers also. I like them too. I have to admit that I'm a Pittsburgh Penguins fan. And the reason for that is because Seattle has no hockey team, and that has been a huge pain in the butt my entire life. We've never had a hockey team, and people will go, oh, we have the T-Birds and the Silvertips. Yeah, it's AAA, man. It's AAA. It's not real hockey. It's not real. That guy's like 16 years old playing. That's not real hockey, and I paid for this ticket? Yeah, so I don't really, not a huge fan of going to those games, but hopefully someday Washington somewhere here will get a legitimate hockey team, and then I can switch from Pittsburgh. But as a small child, I was always a big fan of Mario Lemieux because he had that gangster, terrible mullet haircut, and I loved it when I was a kid because I'm that old. I'm that old that I was actually a kid and I thought that mullets were awesome because I was just a little guy and I didn't know any better. I just thought they were rad, you know. Are you business up front, your party in the back? That sounds like a kind of a cool dude, right? When you're 5. Most of us adults know that that's a creepy thing that you shouldn't be doing, right? We know that. I mean, it's hilarious. It's hilarious, but it's also pretty creepy, right? And oh, well, it's Happy Friday in New Zealand town and the Kiwis, them Kiwis out there. You're very welcome for the stream. I'm happy to be here doing it. I'm happy to be in the year 2017 where we're able to do this kind of stuff. I really hope to expand this over the future. That is the goal. And your guys' super chats and your contributions and stuff are what are going straight into expanding this and making this production better. Currently still trying to get the better camera involved here. So that'll be an ongoing process where I bash myself in the head with my fist as I run into blockade after blockade after blockade of trying to code through this. Jadron Aquatics has showed up. What's up, my man? Dead Boy NYC, what's up? Jadron is saying mullets aren't awesome. I mean, they're awesome in a hilarious factor. I don't mean to segregate any group of people out there, but let's be honest here. It's the 21st century. You don't need to. You could either have long hair or have short hair. Let's not combine the two. It's just awkward for everyone. And chicks don't think it's awesome. Let's just get that all right on the table. You know what I'm saying? Carson, blah blah blah. Your needs, ha ha ha. Okay, yeah. I don't know. I don't know what that means. I don't know what you're saying. V-Stag says hit the like and the share button. Yeah, that's up to you guys, man. You hit the like, you hit the share, you send it out there. Maybe people like this, maybe people don't. But either way, awesome. I'm having a good time. I hope you're all having a good time. We'll see what happens in the future, the near and dear future. Today was Thursday, so I managed to get a whole lot of silicone put on the stuff and a whole bunch of paint put on the stuff and a bunch of things done to clean up my job site. And then tomorrow I'm going to be doing some plumbing, which will be super fun because it's crawling around in the dirty old crawl space, which is my least favorite thing to do, but that's what I'll be doing and getting that hammered out, and then we'll be moving on to demo again next week, which is, I don't know if it's the best part or the worst part. I'm not 100% sure. Dye half of your hair blonde and half of your hair purple. Well, I'm not those of you that don't know, that is the colors of the UW football team here in Washington, which is the University of Washington, and I really wouldn't want to be signing up to be with those guys. You know, I don't have any problem with those guys, but I didn't go to that school, and people would assume that I had gone to that school, and I was hugely fanatical about it for whatever reason. So I won't be doing that hairstyle. That won't be happening. But I'll take your bleach money. I'll actually get some old pictures out here at some point in time and show them to you. I used to have bleached hair. I used to have bleached blonde hair. I used to have green hair. I used to have blue hair. I've had purple hair. Red hair. I mean, shit, you name it. I've had every color of hair under the sun. So it wouldn't be it really wouldn't be that big of a stretch. I just don't have the time commitment, and I don't know. I'm cool with just being me at this point. It doesn't really matter all that much. But, we're at the 10-minute mark, so I'm supposed to do the little quote-unquote advertising part. So, like we said earlier, hit the like and share button, do all that kind of stuff. Watch the videos, blah, blah, blah. You can support the channel like Joel Gillett did tonight and drop a super chat, a couple bucks. 3, 4, 5, 100 million, whatever. We had the second record-tying super chat last night from Aquarium Co-op Corey up in Edmonds there with the $100 super chat, which didn't even expire by the time we ended the live stream here. So, but you guys can do that. You can also go to darkstararts.com. That's my webpage. Click through the Amazon banner. You can buy a sword, you could buy a long sword, you could buy a toga, and fake grapes, and then you could just roust about town acting like you're some old Greek guy. That'd be fun, right? And then I guess the other way you can support the channel is by sharing it out there. Go up on Facebook, throw it up on there on the face pages or the Instagrams or the Twitters. I don't have a Twitter sphere. I can't answer that answer for you, Carson. So maybe somebody in the chat can. He's asking, how do you set up Super Chat? Does it come out of a bank account or a credit card or debit card? I'm not sure. I'm not sure how that works. So hopefully somebody in the chat can answer that for you. Joel Gillett says credit card. Cool. I'm sure it's probably through PayPal or something like that would be my guess. Yeah, so that's the ad part. My goal is to completely get rid of the ads and be able to dedicate more time to doing these things. So those are the two goals right now that we have. Currently trying to do 5 live streams a week. I think we've been pretty darn good about it in the last month or month and a half. I'm not sure, but we're going to keep going at this pace until I freak out and do something else, I guess. But today was a pretty good day. The weather around here was pretty good. We got a lot of stuff done. Rurutu's going to bed because it's midnight out there in Jersey. Good night, Rurutu. Thanks for stopping by, though. I appreciate it. I appreciate your time to come by and say what's up and see what's happening. So, I forgot what else I was going to talk about before we got into the video here. Oh, we're a little bit late on the live stream tonight, and the reason for that is you'll see in the video we had some helpers come by tonight of the youthful variety, 6-year-old and an 8-year-old. The nieces came by with Grandma. So they came by and kind of helped out, and honestly, they're a bit of a distraction because you cannot allow them to just do whatever they want, because they're just right at that really inquisitive age of what is this sharp pointy thing, and I'm going to accidentally stab myself. But they're great kids. I love having them around, and I guess they're going to be visiting here quite more often, so we shall probably see their heads poking in. Anna and Michaela, shout out to them. If they watch this, that's who I'm talking about. Anna, Banana, and Michaela KK. So, tonight, we made... Oh, and Eddie is here to see his video, his CO2... Or his, to see his PVC being turned into a CO2 reactor. And guys, I gotta apologize ahead of time. All I got is blue bio balls that go in it. So I don't even know if it fits my color scheme. But it's got blue bio balls going into it. So... just a heads up on that. When that gets confusing, those are them bio balls. I would have liked to get some, but I got the blue ones, but then I was thinking about what color I wanted to get. And then it matched some of my, some of the parts that I put on it. So maybe that actually worked. So I got some, yeah, as KG's saying, I got them blue bio balls in the CO2 reactors, you know. Damn bio ball. So, we'll be building that thing in the video here. And as you guys are normally pretty aware, I don't do a ton of editing into the video, into the live stream, so you guys get an opportunity to see all of the stuff that goes on live. And then if y'all don't have time for the live stream, I upload a shortened version of it now in the morning after. So stay tuned for that. I'm not sure. It doesn't look to be all that popular, honestly. But people have been commenting that they like it. So if you guys do like it, you got to share it out there and get some views on it. Because if I put up a video and it has 40 views on it, that to me says that y'all don't like it. So I don't know if I want to spend my time dedicating my time to that. And that's just the brutal honesty. That just like, I mean, if it gets 40 views, it's kind of ridiculous to waste an hour editing that video. You know what I'm saying? That's just reality. So hopefully, if y'all can share it out there a little bit and just get a little bit of traction on those things, that would be helpful from you guys. I guess I could share it. I share stuff out on my stuff, but so hopefully if y'all can share those out there and get a little bit of traction for that amount of work. It just seems like people don't really like them all that much. So I don't know. That's the vibe I'm getting. If people really don't like stuff, then I just don't make it for. I don't know what to make it for. People always say it's like for the love of the craft, and I'm like, I like video editing, but I clearly don't work at a video editing place. The craft. I don't know what. The craft that I love is actually building all this shit. That's what I like doing. I don't necessarily want to spend my building time editing if that is something that's not 100% needed or wanted, But we are coming up on the 17-minute mark, which I think I wrote down on a piece of scrap paper and then threw away. That was when we'll get rolling on some of the videotape here. So we got to move over to scene 3. You can see my elaborate table system. Look at that. Look at that badass table, man. How did he make that? How did he make that table? I mean, he made that table look exactly like an old tote that's full of aquarium parts with some crappy old t-shirt cutouts on top of it. I mean, I don't even understand how he crafted that. Yeah, so it's an old tote with, just some garbage on top of it. Some old t-shirt cutouts, which are generally what I use for rags. I got stacks and stacks of those. That's what I use for rags for painting and, work and all that kind of crap. So, well, I guess we're getting reviews in regards to my radio voice and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, cool. Either way, here are all the parts that you're going to need for your CO2 reactor. And watch out, Michaela will get in the way of the camera, so be aware of that. Doesn't really matter how many times you tell her. I mean, she'll learn over time, but she is a kid and doesn't know that the camera is on. So we're going to keep working on that to make sure not to block the camera. But she will get in the way of the camera. But a big help today, big helper for sure. But these are the fittings that you're going to need. Here's the pump. And a word to the wise, this was the wrong pump to hook up to this initially, and you guys will see that. I did a quick glance at it and didn't realize that this one is a smaller pump. The housing is actually the same size, but this one doesn't push as much water as the other one. So initially, once I set it up, I was like, what the hell? Why is this thing not working right? Because it didn't have enough volume. So this size right here, this thing is 21 inches and a 2-inch pipe. Needs about 2100, 2200 gallon per hour pump, which if you bust onto Amazon, those things are like $38 or something like that. They're really not that much money, but most people like me have old utility pumps like this kicking around, and that's where this one came from. Let's see here. You could spend that time knitting. That is a good thing, Joel. That's for sure. eBay something. I don't know what that is. Eddie, look up. What's going on here? Where can I find them small 3/4 inch fittings. Is that what you're asking about? These blue fittings. So recently Home Depot changed the line of plastic fittings that they're carrying. They're actually blue. These ones are supposed to be more wear resistant or whatever. They just happen to be blue colored. They used to be gray colored. Doesn't really matter. I've never really had them fail or anything like that, so I'm not really sure what people were freaking out about. So let's see. Yeah, that's right. That is an epic, crazy, badass table. That is for sure. But the only clear glue that I had is actually the Weld-On Multi-Purpose, which does have a tendency to take a little bit longer to set up than the other glues that I use. But I wanted to keep them. But I did want to keep using. I wanted to use the clear glue instead of blue or green or purple or any of the wonky colors that I use on a regular basis, or black for that matter. Because I ended up grabbing some white PVC instead of black. I felt like the white went better suited alongside the blue. I just thought that was a better, like, kind of an offset. Maybe somebody out there in Indianapolis, some Colts fan, will be super excited that it's blue and white. But that was the reasoning for using that glue. The glue will set up just the same. We have to switch videos here and move on to the next one. So sorry about my clicking. Eddie Kaitia is asking about 3/4 inch bio balls. Okay, those little 3/4 inch bio balls I had, I actually just have a bunch of bio balls kicking around. I have one in an old fish tank that I'm trying to sell. We have a it's called a 110, but it's like a 106 gallon or something with an internal filter in it tank that we're trying to get rid of, but no takers yet as of yet on selling that thing. I mean, I think we're selling it for like $100, but nobody seems to want it. But I grabbed some of the bio balls out of there. You can find them on Amazon for real cheap these days. It's pretty easy to make those. Dealy bobs, you know what I'm saying? Pick them up. Like I said, I was initially going to put some black ones in there, but I have no idea. I have a bucket. I have a big bucket full of black ones somewhere, but even Vicky didn't know where they were. That was a bit of an issue. So here we are, drilling out the hole, and you can see I'm just kind of stepping it up, and I'm actually talking to Michaela here in the video as we're going along. As we're moving along to get this hole drilled out here, where I'm actually using that. So you can see those two standard issue drill bits. That big wonky one there is called a step bit. So every time it drills in, it's going to get bigger and bigger. And that is what I have found the best way to install these brass fittings with the threading into them, because the inside hole is going to be a little bit smaller. The outside hole is going to be just big enough to get it threaded in there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to coat the brass fitting threads with some of the multi-purpose weld-on with the glue, right? Then I'm going to thread it in there, and then I'm just going to crank this sucker down. And what that glue is going to do is actually it melts the PVC is what it does. The PVC gets melted by the glue, and then we'll be able to just thread it in there, get it nice and tight, and then that glue, as it melts the PVC, it will bond and then leave a threaded hole after the fact. I've tried to explain this to people over the years, and it seems to have been really confusing. A lot of people have been pretty upset about it. So maybe I explained it well enough. Sorry, I just trailed off there because I was trying to read what was going on in the chat here. Reef and Live Bear Aquatics, how's it possibly have 5K subs and 16 viewers? 6 viewers, but 16 viewers. YouTube's punishing them for a long period of inactivity or something. Yeah, Joel Gillett, I'd like to confront that a little bit. I'm not really sure what people were talking about. I've been uploading for a long time, and it seems like all of the old YouTubers that have gotten pretty big at this point that have emailed me and messaged me have seemed to they have thought that I've been completely inactive for a long time, because I did take a little bit of a break while I was getting sober. So So I'm not really sure what that is, but I have had a lot of videos up. I don't know. I think this is video 493. So I think I have a few videos up. I'm not sure. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, the ins and outs of figuring out the YouTube algorithm, I don't know. But if y'all are fans or whatever, share it out there, send it out, and we'll just keep plugging along here and keep doing what we do. Eddie Kaiti is asking about using a step bit. Let me see. Are you confused? Okay, Eddie, are you confused that it's what a step bit is, or is it weird that I'm using a step bit? I'm not sure. But here you can see me actually just using the pliers to burp, 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 and then I'm tapping on it because I'm talking to Michaela, and now I'm talking to you guys, right? So there we see we're going to get it all the way tightened in, and like I said, it's got that glue on it. When the outside hole is a little bit bigger than the inside hole, right? The inside hole is pretty tight. So I'm just using these little pliers here to get this thing tightened all the way down. And like I said, that glue crammed in there will melt it, and then we'll end up with a threaded hole. Boop 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 boop. Yeah, but I actually am using a step bit there, which you know, I know a lot of people out there don't have a step bit because they can be really expensive, realistically, when you get down to it. I mean, you can go to the hardware store and buy one, and some of them are $50, $60. I just have a bunch of them for work, and generally I don't use them for metal drilling anymore. So I'm able to actually hold onto them for quite a long time. I have a different way of drilling metal. Steel. Hey, there we go. Steel. That's easier. I have a different way of drilling steel now, so I'm able to avoid blowing out all my step bits because they're stupid expensive for what they are, realistically. But they're a really helpful tool when you need them. Okay, so we had a slight camera malfunction as I assembled this together, but luckily we just missed putting the bottom together and the bio balls inside of it. But I did get a shot here. There's just assorted bio balls stuck in there, and you can see those are used. Those aren't new. They aren't anything wacky like that. Jadern Aquatics is saying cheap at Harbor Freight. Okay, just to answer that, because I'm the one that brought it up, my cheaper way of drilling steel now is Harbor Freight bits. I don't use step bits, though, not anymore, for drilling steel. I just get a stack of Harbor Freight bits and then just blow those out and throw them away as we go through it. They'll generally cut 2 to 3 holes, and then you got to throw them out. But considering a Harbor Freight, you can buy like a 10-pack of drill bits for like $4 or something. It just works out to just have a bunch of them and then just blow them up and make your cuts real fast, because you don't have to drill slow, because you know that drill bit's gonna die whether you do slow or not. And Eddie's asking no union. I didn't put a union in this one. I was just gonna ugly it up at some point in time. When it comes time to clean it, I'll actually chop it and put the union in there. But I was liking this nice just single seam for now. I put the union in the last one when that happened. Once it got kind of clogged up and just kind of gunky in there, when I took it apart to clean it, that's when I added the union to it. And but I didn't want to put a union in this one, because then I'm going to have this like knob, and I just wanted to have this nice seamless one for a while here until we get used to having the clear CO2 reactor. I mean, hell, you sent me this PVC that is beautiful and expensive, and we shipped it, and we did all that stuff. So I did want to keep it solid in the meantime, if you know what I'm saying. I just wanted to have it look pretty, at least in its youthful stage, you know what I mean? While she's got some, while she's still got some estrogen in the system and youthful beauty, but as she ages and matures, she'll become a big part of our life, and then we'll have to add more parts to her, like a union, you know, and those kinds of things, if you know what I'm saying. Is it an analogy or a metaphor? Who knows? No one will ever know. Those of you out there that are freaking out about putting on plumber's tape, I did lose a job over that once. I had some stupid business owner who was all telling me about how he puts his, he puts his thread tape on wrong, and I was like, well, there's really only one way. There's really only one way to install it. And he got all pissed off at me and started arguing with me that I was a jerk. And I was like, well, there's only one way to install it. And then it got weird, and I just kept telling him that there was only one way to install it. Andikin says, it won't let me fast forward. I want to see the finished product installed. Cool. Don't we all want that? We all want that, right? Right, guys? We all want that. That's what we all came here for super fast forward. Although, tomorrow, I upload the foreshortened fast forward version, so you'll be able to watch the fast forward version tomorrow if you like. If you're a super busy guy and you want to, and you gotta like get to McDonald's real fast or whatever you gotta do that's really important, you can watch it in the morning, and be like, what's his name? Warren Buffett on your way over to McDonald's to get your sausage McMuffin or whatever. Then you could just watch the 3-minute version en la mañana, which doesn't mean tomorrow morning. That means not today, if anybody was wondering. Luke's Aquatics has showed up. What's up, my man? Warren Buffett needs to get to McDee's. That's what he does. That's what he does every day. He goes out there and he eats a McMuffin, depending on how the stock market's doing, whether he's going to get ham or not, or something like that. I'm not really sure. CJ's Aquariums, what's up, man? Good to see you. Thanks for coming out. But yeah, as you can see, this is just me putting on the old vinyl tube and just wrenching it on there. It's not all that much. Oh, and Eddie, I haven't gotten to that part yet. But you did see Michaela got some surprises when I was cutting the vinyl tube there off. But quite a good time to have a little buddy helping me out. Little buddy helping me out for sure, asking questions and trying to figure out what is going on here. But that Carson is asking, how do you size the pump you use to address the dwell time on the C02 before it hits the main display? Basically, the size of the pump is going to be in relation to the size of the tube, right? So this is a 2-inch tube that's like this, right? And then the fact that how tall it is, so how much water volume it needs to have in it. You could always downsize your outlet, make your outlet a little bit smaller. So because I have a 3/4 inch intake on the top, I could always downsize to a 1/2 inch at the bottom. And then what happens here is gravity is the big thing that allows the CO2 to get into the water column and be fully, what's the word I'm thinking here? What's the word I'm searching for? There's a word I'm looking for. I'm not really sure what it is right now, but I'm searching for a word. You get the CO2 dissolved, I guess. Let's go with dissolved. We'll go with dissolved. That seems to be a word that I'm maybe looking for. That's not the one, but we'll go with dissolved into the water, so it'll end up into your water column as it heads back up into the display. You know, the objective here is to make sure that there's just no water, or there's no water, that there's no air bubbles blowing out the bottom, if that makes sense. But Andikin was saying diffused. Diffused? Yeah, dissolved, diffused. Let's go with diffused. I like that better. Thank you. Thank you, Andikin. But once we get it diffused into the water column, it won't look like anything. It'll actually just be in the water. Oh, and I think that's the end of that part of the video, so we got to click on to the next one. Here we go. Oh my gatos. There's a sump. And I know that the niece got in the way of this video for sure. Oh. And I think she was trying to figure out how to stay out of the way of the camera. But she's just so interested and very excited. But you can see that there's I had some garbage in this bucket. Was trying to figure out some rocks with some moss stuck to it or something like that. But Luke's Aquatics got to go to bed, man. Sometimes you got to go to bed. It's not quite my bedtime yet, but my bedtime is coming up super fast. I get up at 5, and I'm going to have to go to bed fairly soon. But thanks for coming out, for sure. Oh, Vinnie Mac day to day. Oh, Vinnie Mac, you got a good point, man. If you guys got kids, you got kids hanging around. If you have your own kids or somebody else's kids, kids love this stuff if you explain it to them. And just from a little heartfelt thing right here, if you're a father of some kids, just build shit with your kids. I mean, just do it. Have your kids around and have them work on projects with you. If you're going to screw them up or not, it don't matter. Just have your kids around. It's one of the few things that I get to have from my childhood with my dad. My dad was a very stoic character, and the few times that I really have a lot of memories with the dude was when we were getting a chance to build some stuff together. But very important from an old guy to maybe some young guys out there. I know we got at least one baby daddy right up in here. Carson Anderson met his baby the other day. But got that fresh baby smell. Got that fresh baby smell right off the car lot. You know what I'm saying? I had to totally knocked the filter floss out of the way, so I ended up having to change the filter floss. So we won't have any tank shots later here today because let's be realistic. I got a bunch of doo-doo floating around from when I just bashed the filter floss right there. My bad. And I admit it. I fully admit it. Vinnie Mac day-to-day. Spend time and teach the kids, man. That's how all of us probably got into this hobby. Yeah, that's for sure. I had turtles when I was a kid. I had fish too, but the turtles, man. Turtles were my main jam. I had TJ the turbo turtle, and Tony the something turtle. I can't remember exact. Terrific or something like that. I don't know if I was kind of creative. I don't know if the names were really that wild. But one of them did run away. I did lose one of them. I had him outside bathing in like a kiddie pool, you know, when it was really sunny out. I had him out there. One of them escaped and like run off, or was eaten by an eagle or something. I'd rather think he went on some kind of turtle adventure out into the forest. But, you know, come to think of it now, I never really thought of it this way. He could have been eaten by a predator, you know, because they were just, you know, kind of right there sitting in a dinner plate. You know what I mean? Just like gadoosh. Just grab these suckers. But like I said earlier, I did put the wrong pump into this initially, that little one. That little one that I put on there was the wrong little one. The one that I just took out and threw on the ground over there, that's the one that I ended up putting back onto this. Jadron saying, you doubt he ran away. He was fast, man. I'm telling you. TJ, the turbo turtle, was extremely fast. And he had at one point gotten out and ran all the way across the yard and was back in the woods. And I found him that one time. So that had happened. So we did have a history of this guy just doing whatever the hell turtle stuff that he wanted to do. So I was assuming that's what happened. But then again, you know, there are large birds of prey around here. So maybe that could have been it. But who knows? But we're just basically getting this sucker in here and putting it in. And I don't think that this part of the video is 100% entertaining. So I would say let's roll to the next part, because I think this is just me like poking around in here. Let me see. I think I fire it up, and then I stare at it for a minute, and then I realize, yeah, let's jump through here. Let's do some jump cuts. Jump cuts, because kids love jump cuts. Yeah, this is basically me just with my hands in here going like, what the deuce? You know, but then I realized, oh, wait a minute, I've got the wrong pump on here. That one's not pushing enough. So then I put the other pump, which looks exactly like the other pump as before. It just happens to be a different one. One's an old Rio, and the other one's an old Rio Plus or whatever. I don't remember exactly what the pumps were. Kind of irrelevant at this point. I'm not even sure if they even sell those anymore. But yeah, as you can see here, I still have kind of a little bit of bubbles kicking around in there. I got to mess with it just a little bit. But you can see the CO2 goes in at the top, and the flow is going in the top and back down, right? So then the CO2 will be grabbed from the water flow, right? And water flow's heading down like this. The CO2 will get grabbed, and then gravity will start pulling the CO2 back up, basically, right? So the water flow's going down. The CO2 will be trying to go back up because of gravity, and then get mixed up and messed up all up in them bio balls right there. So hopefully this finally gives somebody a really good idea on how to construct this damn thing, because I've walked through it a bunch of times and people still ask me about this thing. And so, oh, hold on. I forgot to put that on. There we go. There we go. It's got a repeat. I have to actually physically go over and click the repeat button, which is deep in the heart of the program. So, yeah, I mean, that's kind of the thing, Dead Boy. I'm hoping to think that he went off into the woods and, you know, did some turtle stuff, settled down, had a good spot, ate some grubs and all that kind of nonsense that he was always searching for, instead of him necessarily being eaten by a stupid bald eagle or something garbage bird like that. Eddie is asking, are microbubbles still making it out? Not really at this point with the actual. I needed more pressure from the pump to actually fully fill it with water, and now it is full and it's not pushing out too bad. I did have to adjust a couple of little things, just basically messing with it a little bit. Nothing I could really tell you. Nothing I could really specifically point out like what I did. I just kind of messed with it a little bit, and now it's running. Now it's running good. So, but like I said, I put that pump on there that didn't have enough volume initially. So, if I could give a recommendation to anybody, I would say make sure that you have enough volume pushing through to get this size, or you can downsize it to a smaller pipe. That's for sure. Yeah, and Eddie's asking, is it 100% dissolved? Yeah, it does get. It gets 100% dissolved. I run about 2 bubbles a second, I think, would be realistically what I run this at. So Jennifer is asking why I have the return back into the sump instead of the main tank. So the sump right there, the next chamber over is the return that goes up. That is the return that heads back up to the tank. So on the left, 2 chambers over there. I have the Durso overflow that's dragging air with it down through the overflow, which is mixing in air, right? So we're going with high oxygen, right? And then we go through one chamber that doesn't really have much in it except for holding plants and the biological media where all the bacteria is growing, where we have high oxygen. And then we're going to add CO2, right? And they're going to mix together. And then they're going to go down, boom, grab by the pump, whoosh, right up into the tank. So if that kind of makes sense as the stages as we go through here, and somebody, I know there's a guy in chat that is a huge fan of making sure to oxygenate your biological media, and that is Vinny Mac Day to Day, knows all about oxygenating your biological filtration area. You want to make sure that you have a good amount of oxygen in there to keep that bacteria growing at a really solid rate. So if it makes sense, we're starting with O2, and then we're adding CO2, and then we're going back up into the tank. A lot of it will get used as it's up there, and then it will head back down to the sump. So if that makes sense, we're just kind of cycling through the system and replenishing it as needed. And this is on a timer. So I don't have the circulation pump on a timer. That just runs 24 hours a day. And then the CO2 will come on off of a timer, right? So that's going to actually turn on 2 hours before my lights come on, and it turns off an hour before my lights turn off. So as this all goes through, when the lights aren't on, your plants don't really need the CO2, so it's just kind of a waste to just send it out there. I have in the past, in order to keep my pH like really stable, I had it on a pH controller and was running it 24 hours a day in order to keep my pH rock solid 24 hours a day. But nowadays I don't really need to do that with this tank. And the big shrimp tank that I'm setting up, won't need that either, because I'm not even sure if I'm going to inject CO2 in it. I'm sort of on the fence right now in regards to that. But if I do, for instance, like let's say I do some high-end shrimps in that tank and I do need a little bit lower pH than my standard pH here, then I will probably run that CO2 on a 24-hour cycle just to make sure that my pH is always hanging right around, 6.7, 6.8, somewhere in there, so it's not at like 7.1 or whatever. But Eddie's saying, looks great with the clear PVC. You can see what's really taking place. Yeah, you got a really good point, man. It does really pop that you're able to see exactly what's going on in there instead of just the outside stuff. Oh man, Joel Gillett's got to go. He's probably got some other. Live stream he's got to be at. Would be my guess. But thank you for your super chat tonight, my man. Your contributions go back right into that fish room and new projects coming down the pipe. Whether that pipe's clear or not, we'll see in the future. So yeah, where were we at? Okay, we're at 45 minutes here, so we'll go back to the. We got to go back to the main screen. Go back to the main screen. All right, guys. Hopefully, I got a good enough walkthrough for you so that everybody had a good chance to figure out exactly how this works and can kind of pop through the video back and forth and double check all the parts that you're looking for and all that kind of stuff. And anybody that still had questions, hopefully they got answered tonight. That's hopefully what is going on. What are we doing tomorrow? I have something coming down the pipe tomorrow. We're going to have to change the sump on the reef tank. The sump that I put under there the other day is the wrong sump. So I'm going to actually pull that out and swap it with a different sump that I have because I honestly did some measurements and figured out some stuff and realized that, hey, I have a sump and I won't have to cut any holes in the one that I have now that we just put under there. So I'm actually just going to pull that one out and push the other one in there. So you'll probably get to see some awesome video of me spraying out an old sump and cleaning out whatever the heck is in there. Eddie Kaiti is asking if I have tropical fish like roseline sharks, blue rams, cherry barbs, Siamese algae eaters. Do you think I can add a mono shrimp? Absolutely, yeah. You can totally add a mono shrimp in with those guys. I would not worry about them at all. Those would be... I mean, I guess maybe the only thing in there that would be weird is the cherry barbs. Would be the one thing that I would worry about. But I think the roselines wouldn't mess with them. The blue rams, I'm not sure that they would mess with them. I know that Siamese algae eaters or flying fox, either way, I don't think that they would mess them. But I would get like one or two and see if the cherry barbs team up on them and take them out or not. Amanos are typically pretty big, and I'm not sure if barbs would go for them aggressively or not. I know that they'll eat cherry shrimp like if they're little, but yeah, I think you'd probably be okay. I would just get a couple and see how they do, honestly. I mean, worst case scenario, in that situation, you fed your fish. It's really expensive fish food. So, I mean, your water quality should be fine, so they wouldn't die from that. So, worst case scenario, your fish ate some really expensive fish food. And I think last time I bought Amano shrimps, I think they were only like $4 or something like that. But yeah, I would just buy a couple and see how they do if they get along. It's not like they're going to breed in your tank anyhow, because you need to swap them over to brackish to breed and all that kind of stuff. So in that standard freshwater, they're not going to breed, so you're only going to have a couple in there anyhow. And a 75-gallon tank, the most I would put in there is like 8 at the most. Oh, okay, man. They're not flying fox. I get it. Okay, I get it. But Vinnie Mac is saying red cherry shrimp culls make great feeders. That they do for sure. You get those little brown ones. You get those little doo-doo brown cherry shrimps. Those are great to scoop out and feed to somebody who desperately needs a fresh lunch, like maybe a nice puffer fish or something along those lines. Yes, that's what I would do. Oh, and I have a couple of email questions. That's what we got to do. We got to do the email questions. Email questions. Oh, hold on. I don't understand where all these spams are coming from these days. Somebody has set up a bot. Where'd that go? Oh, crap. I'm hitting the wrong buttons, guys. Look at me, my wizardry. Oh, there we go. Got it pulled up. Sean Craib was asking, I like these short versions. Is the stand being so close to the sump going to be a problem with accessing equipment in the sump? And then he says, keep up the good work. I think this is in reference to the 180 reef. We moved the sump in there. And probably from the video, the gap looks smaller than it actually is. I have just enough space under there to kind of comfortably like work around and get my hands in there and stuff. There's just enough space under there for that. The other sump that I'm going to move in there, it's not because of that gap. It's because of the baffle gap is why, if that makes sense, which is if you look at a sump, you notice that like the water level will be here, here, and then here. Right, they'll be at different. The water levels will be set at different levels. The reason for that is my skimmer, it would have to be on some kind of crazy, ridiculous stand underneath in the sump, and I don't want to do that. So, but that other sump actually happens to be like 2 inches shorter, so I'm actually going to get a couple of inches anyhow. To answer his question, currently, no, it's not going to be a problem, and I'm actually going to gain a couple inches from swapping the sump. So, Sean Craib, I did thank you very much for the question. Carol, should you Larek is a subscriber from Poland living in Scotland and never gets to see the stream because it's at like 4 a.m. Anybody out there that is concerned when the stream is, it will upload as a video later, as a whole hour-long video, and I will also upload the foreshortened version later. I would love to do earlier live streams, but I have to work during the day, so I end up having to do them at nighttime my time. So I generally start doing them around 8 o'clock during the week, specific standard time. And then on the weekends, I do earlier ones. So to people like Carol that are looking for earlier live streams, you have to be here on Saturday or Sunday, and I'll be doing the earlier ones. So if I do it noon my time, it'll be 8 p.m. your time, if that makes sense, over there in Scotland or England, UK, any of that, Spain, all that kind of areas right in that time zone. So anybody whose hours are off and any of that kind of stuff, I wouldn't stress yourself out about staying up all night, because they will upload as a video and or come on Saturday and Sunday, and make it a point to turn on the notifications so that you get a notification. You actually have to go to my homepage and click that little bell thing next to the subscribe button. And if you aren't subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's not be ridiculous. You know, let's not be ridiculous, people. Oh, Big Pedro made it out. What's up? I got a 14-day mandatory. Damn. What? What's a 14-day mandatory? Eddie's saying I got a great 5 o'clock shadow. Thanks. It's more like an 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock shadow now. That's getting sandpapery already. I'm cursed with the goddamn shaving all the time. That is true, Vinny. Work is getting in the way of my live streams. But here's the reality, you know. If we can build this up enough, then I'll be able to change my work around and do live streams at different times in the day. So that's what it comes up to. That's what it realistically comes down to at this point. So I would like to be able to do one in the morning and then one at night, and kind of focus on two different subjects. So maybe I'll be able to do like reef in the morning and freshwater at night, or vice versa, or something along those lines, moving along here in the future as things hopefully get going better, you know, going better and going better. Matthew Waybright just wanted to pop in and hit you up with a like. Got to go to bed. Nah, surprises. So it's good to go to bed when it's time to go to bed. Oh, 14-day mandatory OT. That's what Big Pedro's doing. Surprises. You got overtime, dude. That's time and a half as far as I'm concerned, right? And let's check out the email questions and scroll down through them. Okay, nothing else worth answering, so we're going to answer those two and be done with that for today. If you all have any questions, long-form questions, short-form questions, or any that kind of stuff, you can either message me on YouTube or go to darkstararts.com and send me an email, and I'll read it, and then I'll get back to you. I got Vinnie Mac's phone number right here, and I'm going to text him after this live stream so that he has my phone number, because that's my boy, and we gotta get on the phone more often, dude, you know. So we'll be doing that for sure. And hey, Matt and Big. Who's this? What's that? Oh. Well, Matt made it out and everybody else made it out. Well, it looks like we made it all the way through the video by the 55. Oh, that's a landline. Well, shit. All right, I'll call you tomorrow or something. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah. Yeah. All right. Yep. Okay, cool. So we made it all the way through the video and all that kind of stuff. Thanks to Joel Gillett, even though he had to leave for the super chat. I appreciate the contributions. And we'll be winding it down for Thursday night. I hope everybody has a good night. If you have a question to get in within the next 2 minutes and 23 seconds, then we might be able to answer that. If not, we'll just be signing off for tonight so that I can get up in the morning and edit this down into a real short version, so the people that like those people that like what you call it, driving to McDonald's and eating those macaroni and cheeses, or macadoodles, McScoodles, whatever those are called. What would I like to keep in a 10-gallon? I don't have a 10-gallon anymore. I don't even have a 10-gallon anywhere. But what would I keep in a 10-gallon? I would realistically probably keep probably cherry shrimp and maybe a crib. Maybe a cribensis. Maybe a cribensis, and then I'd probably plumb it into a bigger system so that you can have some good water. Hey, FU2 showed up right at the end. Thanks for coming out, man. I definitely dig it. You know, those of you that showed up late and made it up late, it will upload as a video later, so you guys will be able to watch it and hear me yell surprises at my lovely lady. Well, that's going to be it, guys, for the Thursday night June 29th live stream. Hope everybody has a safe one out there. Don't go completely bananas, and stay away from the fireworks stands, you jerk-offs. That's starting to drive me crazy, all these people blowing stuff up. It's just, it scares the dog. I mean, all you're doing is scaring my dog. Like, what up? It's not cool. Your fireworks aren't very good. You spent $50 at the reservation. It's not that great. And you're just scaring the dog. I mean, you just walk over here and yell at my dog if that's what you really wanted to do. Out of all the shrimp in the world, this mofo says cherry shrimp. Yeah, in a 10-gallon, I would want to keep something like cherry shrimps. Like some flame sakura cherries or something like that. Just something pretty basic that's hardy. That's hardy to hang out in a small tank like that. I'm over trying to do crystals in nano tanks. I mean, I did it for a long time, and it's just a big pain in the butt. I like having big ass tanks that are super easy to do big ass water changes on and keep all them super duper McDuper pooper. You know what I'm saying? Happy with that fresh, clean waters. But that's it for the hour mark for tonight. Like I said, stay safe out there and quit buying freaking fireworks, you jagoffs. Cover your earballs, because here comes the later. Does anybody know where that button is? Has anybody seen that button? Where's that? What? You seen the button? Where'd the button go?